The following opinions are solely those of BoatTest.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTest.com, and in this video, I'm going to conduct a sea trial and performance evaluation of an exciting new boat from Absolute, the Navetta 68. The Navetta line is characterized by the distance cruising capability and outward by the vertical helm windows and plumb bow. Inwardly, the line takes full use of the interior volume by creating open space and roominess. Let's start by looking at our operational features, beginning with the helms. The flying bridge helm is center-mounted, providing wide visibility. It includes a pair of 22-inch displays on raised pods flanking the compass. Two recesses to the sides of the displays can accommodate additional 4-inch displays with enclosed storage compartments alongside. The steering wheel is mounted to a tilt base. To the left, there's a cubby with a raised lip, the 7-inch Volvo Penta EVC display, electrical push buttons, the wiper control, and a wired remote for the upper displays. A VHF is alongside. To the right, there's a windlass control, the digital engine controls, the IPS joystick, and the bow thruster control. Below is a Fusion stereo and a convenient tray for holding stuff, and it includes a stainless rail. Ahead is an adjustable windscreen, and surrounding the front of the deck is another smoked glass windscreen integrated into a stainless frame. Below is an angled footrest. Behind is a single pedestal bucket seat with flip bolster. Below at the aft deck is another control station providing full view of the starboard side and stern. The main deck helm is center-mounted on an elevated platform just ahead of the salon. The two steps are fitted with courtesy lighting, and the stylized wrapped stainless steel rail is surprisingly unobtrusive. This operating station is among the most professionally laid out I've seen. 3 upper pods each house 22-inch displays, and there's even a 4th display, this time 24 inches, below and to the left. In the center are vents that supplement or replace the electrically opening side window. To the right of the wheel are the VHF radio, the wiper controls, the Volvo Penta EVC display, and the quick windlass control. To the right are the digital engine controls, the IPS joystick, and the bow thruster control. And here's an interesting design touch. The compass is mounted above, out of the way, but still readily visible. Seats are plush and include diamond stitching to the soft touch upholstery. Both have flip armrests, flip bolsters, and electrically adjust fore and aft. The captain's seat to starboard has a flip armrest with integrated controls for the 4 main displays. A footrest extends along the length of the console. To the left is a curved seating space with storage underneath and just abaft. Visibility is outstanding through the 8-foot by 2-foot 2-inch wraparound windshield with a 22-inch deep brow, and the ability to have the panel behind lowered so we can see aft. I'm also happy to see defogging vents fitted for those large windshields. 3 wipers fitted with washers do an excellent job of clearing rain or spray. As the sun goes down, the helm becomes even more appealing. An equally appealing feature is this side door that gives quick access to the side deck, and just down the companionway to the lower deck is the main electrical panel. DC panels are at the top and center, the bottom is for AC systems. And the panel is hinged so we can have easy access behind. Just alongside is a cabinet housing the Seakeeper control panel and windlass controls, both that I'd move to the helm. Moving outside, to both sides of the aft deck are covered line handling areas that include 16-inch cleats, a large stainless rimmed opening to the line storage below, and a warping windlass with foot control below. Just behind and at the steps to the platform is access to the twin 50-amp shore cords on electric reels. Crew space is accessed from a large door in the center of the transom. I'd like to see a grab handle right over the stairs. Aft, there's a refrigerator freezer to one side of the stairs and a washer-dryer combination to the other, and these can be made into any combination of appliances desired. Berths are to the outboard sides. The electrical panel is alongside the entrance to the wet head, which is forward of the stairs and gets closed off with a plastic multifold curtain. The engine room door is just ahead. Inside the engine room, headroom is 5 feet 10 inches, and there's 46 inches between the IPS 1200 pod drive engines, with plenty of walk-around room to all sides of the engines. And sea strainers are right alongside. The pods are easily accessible to the rear. To the port side, there's bench space with the hydraulic components for the platform and windlass mounted over the 29 kW generator. Battery chargers are just ahead, and then the first of 2 fuel tanks. A sight tube shows the fuel level, but I'd move that to the inboard side. The Seakeeper 16 gyro stabilizer is mounted on the center line between the two tanks with fuel filters to both sides. To the starboard side, the air handling system is over the 21.5 kW generator. As we head to the bow, there's a recessed life ring in the bulwarks. Side deck space is 23 inches to both sides. Bulwarks come up 14 inches and rails top out at 39 inches. The first of two 14-inch cleats is just abaft of midships. Lifelines running through the rails between the stanchions have been added to the models after this one. The bulwarks dip down to provide added sight lines to the salon windows. There's a second 14-inch cleat ahead of midships, and then there are four 9-inch steps. Notice the side decks are protected by the overhead 6 feet 9 inches off the deck. At the top of the stairs, the 10-inch tow rails support the 26-inch high railings, and now we get a better look at that huge windshield with overhead brow. Rails continue with the 26-inch height surrounding the ground tackle. Notice how the chafing gear is running the length of the stylized feature to the stem. When it came time to get underway, I came to appreciate the close proximity of the IPS joystick and the progressive bow thruster control. Our departure was about as tight as I've had in any test and really showed how well the 68 maneuvers in tight quarters. The combination of IPS pods and a bow thruster is a good one, and they really complement each other. We actually needed to add fuel for this test, and just when I thought that the docking was tight, the fuel dock space was even more so. If I wasn't convinced the first dock was a tight test, this one drove the point home. Getting underway from here, I chose the cockpit station for improved visibility of the stern in this tight area. Once clear, I moved to the center helm and we were off. The Absolute Navetta 68 has a length overall of 67 feet 4 inches, a beam of 18 feet 6 inches, and a draft of 5 feet 9 inches. With an empty weight of 117,330 pounds, 43% fuel, 71% water, and 4 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 121,907 pounds. With the twin 900 horsepower Volvo Penta IPS 1200s run up to 2,300 RPM, we reached our top speed of 22.2 knots. Now this was in 2 to 3 foot sea, so certainly on the flat she'll do better. In fact, the team at Absolute tested her in ideal conditions and they reported a top speed of 24.8 knots. Interestingly, fuel consumption remained constant at 0.3 nautical miles per gallon all the way down to 1750 RPM and 14.2 knots. So it's fine to set the speed based on the current conditions through that whole range. At a no-wake setting of 1000 RPM and 8 knots, she'll have a range of 637 nautical miles. Minimum planing speed was 13.5 knots, where the range was 281.1 nautical miles. The Navetta 68 is exceedingly comfortable. She's heavy, so don't expect things to happen quickly, but with that said, she's surprisingly responsive to the helm. She has a sedate 4-degree roll into turns, keeping everyone and everything from being tossed about. Of course, straight and far is her forte, so really, autopilot is your friend. We regrettably didn't have any sea conditions of significance to tend with, so we really can't comment on her offshore characteristics, but what we did get proved uneventful with the sharp bow entry slicing cleanly through the waves. She has a minimalistic 5-degree bow rise when bringing the power up, and she'll maintain that on all plane settings. She has a spray rail that curves back to form the chine, and this serves to throw spray low and wide for a dry ride. We also wanted to test the effectiveness of the Seakeeper gyro, even though it was not very choppy. We turned the boat beam to and activated the Seakeeper. Roll was limited to 2 degrees either side of center for a total of 4 degrees. With the gyro turned off, roll rate was 7 to 8 degrees either side of neutral for a total of 15 degrees. Not that we needed it, but our return to the marina provided one last opportunity to examine the maneuverability of the Navetta 68. This time in clearly less challenging conditions, simply backing into a slip, but again, no surprises and no quirks, as expected. Certainly, if there were any concerns about this being an owner-operated boat, the ability to handle it should be a non-issue. The Navetta 68 is at once an exciting boat to drive and comfortable to be on. She has the tight feel of a quality-built boat with no creaking of decks or rattling of doors when underway, and in tight spaces she handles like a dream. She's also exceedingly roomy on board when entertaining, but that's covered in another video, be sure to look for it. For now, this is my sea trial and performance evaluation of the all-new Navetta 68 from Absolute. For BoatTest.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.